it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. What's up, bowlers? Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town & Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Can everybody hear us out there?
I hope they can, because once again, Austin has left us high and dry. He had to work, and we're on our own to make this
work, Austin.
We're on our own to make this audio work. So if you guys are in the chat, please let us know that you can hear us loud and clear. Otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. You can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, X, all those good places. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Some things going on in the collegiate world, and then
collegiate,
and then a lot of bowling we did this weekend. You had your invitational this weekend. World Series of Bowling is going on. Open championships have started. There is a lot to go over. If we can
a lot of stuff going on, and we're gonna get to it all. Breaking news.
Okay. Did I cover everything already?
About what?
I don't know. The normal intro and stuff.
I don't know. I just kind of let you wing it for a little bit.
Austin, how's it going tonight? Oh, okay.
Hey, everything's great tonight.
Anthony, how was your week this week?
Talking about bowling?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, I bowled
you don't remember?
I bowled good Tuesday. Monday, I think I've been doing no practice on Monday. Get like 2 shots of lane. And I think I only had about 918 this week with 195. So not bad. Team took 56 points, which puts us up in a second for the division. So that's a big one. We took 34 this week on Tuesday, and I shot 775 with the new IQI AI. Trying to come up with a
good nickname for it.
Yeah, the IQI. Yeah, that one seemed pretty cool. That was a pretty cool ball. And then yesterday was we practiced till like 12:45, and just trying to get myself to
a late early night.
Trying to get myself to walk closer, being able to play the gutter a little bit more, just making sure I'm aware of what my body does, so I can kind of figure it out. I don't know. Did I figure it out? I don't know. I was kind of a little bit closer last night. And a little bit more calculated, but you know what? I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You
were trying not to belly the ball as much. You're trying to keep it straight down the boards.
Yeah, I was just trying to be a little bit straighter. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be dead straight, but I mean, I'm just trying to make sure that if I have to be closer to the gutter, that I'm able to not drift 15 boards right, that I can kind of pay attention to myself and figure out that I'm, if I can do X, Y in the setup, and focus on something, I can cut it down, which I probably should cut it down, but I'm not trying to change too much. I just wanted to make sure that I can get there if I got to get there for this weekend at Bud Bowl, and that way, if I can belly it a little bit, I'll probably just bowl my normal way. It just depends on lanes.
Yeah, I assume there's plenty of hook as per usual up at Lighthouse Lanes in Oswego, where we go bowl Bud Bowl this weekend.
It's our 3rd time going.
Did you miss anything tournament-wise this week?
Yeah, we bowled the Masters, Kyle. If this is the highlight of your career,
it's definitely not the highlight of my career. It was the highlight of the month, though, I would say.
Okay, well, do you want to take us through it, Kyle?
What are you so upset about? Are you just sad that?
I'm not sad. I was happy that you beat me, and then you beat the next guy, and then you had a really good tournament to boost your confidence after your 720 performance 740 on Thursday.
I think maybe 750 almost.
I think I had that much for 3.
Thursday was just a disaster.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even bowling that poorly. I tried a bunch of different things to try to get the ball through the pocket the right way.
Good idea.
But it was just not having it.
Yeah. So we did bowl the New York State Masters this week. We got the second squad, which was 2 p.m. We almost went off the road a few times with the whiteouts. You were like, I can't see. And I was like,
on the way home.
Yeah, I can't. No, it was on the way there, wasn't it?
No. On the way home was the one where the big squalls popped up.
Oh, that was wild.
And we just literally not even passed the front
guardrail
bumper.
Save us. We did bowl. We bowled at Rippix in Binghamton, a very tournament heavy house, and we have a pretty good track record or of lane play there or of the surface. Like we know this house pretty well. We know a few things about the low end to the high end. And so we had a pretty good run for everybody. I think I was 65 over and you were 62 over. And
Yeah,
I had
we were right
176
there, yeah.
and you had 160 in there.
169, yeah.
Yeah, and I had 176 in there when I went to 7-8. That was a tough pair for me. My ball backed up. I think I started with 4 or 5 opens, just like when we build match play. But we got to 62 over. The cut was 51 or 57 or 55. Luckily enough,
I was the not second in, but the second to last in.
Yeah, and
you
I
were
was
third to last in. Yeah.
Luckily enough, I changed my spare ball this week. I fixed it up. I changed my thumb hole to match my other ball, and I changed the pitch and the fingers to match my other bowling balls. Yeah, because it was the same span. It was just like a little bit different, and I felt like my thumb was like I could feel it like legitimately like flatten out when I try to throw it, and it would get
in the
stuck.
old one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went back and just I fixed it up a little bit, and we had to make 2 or 3 7-pins in a row. I think it was 2 7-pins in a row to get to my 208 or 209. So it turned out valuable move this week. That is the shot of the week, as whatever they say on the PBA
I have no idea.
telecast. That's the shot or the spare of the match.
Okay.
He made a 10-pin, 99 percentile. Yeah, so I did that, and that was good. But yeah, we bowled together. Kyle, I made the balls change too late. I didn't read the lanes right, and Kyle did take me. I think I had 400, and Kyle had 429.
I don't remember the numbers. We could definitely look it up.
But I think I think it was a pin shy of 400, or I was 400 because I went 189 and 2, and then I opened the 10th for like 211 or something, or 210. So you ended up beating me in match play. I know that's the highlight of your life, so you can elaborate on it if you'd like to.
I mean, you pretty much covered it. Because of our position in the standings, we ended up catching each other in match play, which was fun. It was a good time. But yeah, like we had talked about during the week, I was using a reality basically the whole day. I mean, until the lanes called for something. Who
would have thought you were going to throw that? I
haven't thrown it in a year, I don't think, since I got
a brand new box one over there.
No, but
no. You can have Nick Harris's. That's mine from Tyler Drexel.
Oh, okay.
And I have an Optimium Idol who somebody traded a ball in for today, and we're gonna keep that for myself for the Masters because that's it's a good piece of equipment that the righties have no good taste for bowling balls.
But we were bowling on. Did they release the pattern yet?
Yeah, it was 41 feet, 29 milliliters, and I think it was like 2.9 to 1.
Yeah, but did they actually release the graph?
Yeah, the graph was out. I did have it. I did have it up today. I was looking at it.
But basically, going into Saturday,
it's right here.
Kyle.
I had it up.
I'd thought like 3 to 1. That sounds a little high for the Masters for ratio wise.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm just saying that was what was in my head. I was like, oh man, that sounds a little high for a ratio. I would think maybe 2.5 would be kind of your highest. But anyway,
it is a state Masters guy. We're not going to get. I
didn't say 1.5. It should be. I was just thinking.
But 3 keeps the scoring pace. I mean, especially. But the house we were in is a little bit tricky. But
right, so that's what I was getting at. Is we show up for just the end of the first squad, and the scores were substantially lower than I think we expected them to be, or at least I expected them to be, I should say.
I don't think they've been overly high ever since we've bowled them. They've always been pretty controllable. They've always been pretty controlled, and they never are that low in ratio. I don't think.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It seems like they're definitely a little bit lower. Yeah. Okay.
I think last year was around 2.5 or something, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, we get there. The scores seem, I think it was like plus 50 or something plus 30 the first squad.
They were lower. Yeah, they were low. I think Brian Leclerc had like 9 in a row, 10 in a row. I think he missed.
Squeeze in.
Yeah, he missed the late. What did he miss? A late 4-pin.
At the end of the last game.
Yeah, and then he punched out and he got to like 240, and he's like, I don't know if that's good enough because he was minus. And then he ended up finding out a really good look with that new hyperdrive. Yeah. And then he bombed him the last game. And he did really well. So
yeah, he could play right up the edge.
Yeah, that was it was good. He got in, and then it kind of gave Kyle, I thought, a look because he's not physically overpowering the lane. He doesn't throw it 20 miles an hour. I mean, he revs it up good still, but he's
still not catching the kids with 450 to 500 reps.
He's not doing anything crazy to the ball. He's just extremely accurate, knows how to play the game. And I was gonna say while you were bowling him, because I don't know how far you want to go into
we can get there in a minute,
here,
but
yeah, he's just watching him in match play. He just operates a little bit differently than a lot of the guys I've ever watched. Especially, we'll get into how he bowled you, but I mean, watching him bowl in, I would say he's not fishing, but he was playing with the lanes a little bit, trying to play a little bit left and then trying to open them up a little bit. But he was still able to keep it controlled and hit the head pin and make a spare.
Right.
Whereas if it's me, I mean, if I try to make a move, usually it's not going to be good. But he was trying to play a different part of the lane, and it was interesting to see how he really kept it close, and he really played the lane really well to try to do that, and he wasn't giving anything away.
No,
he wasn't giving anything away. So
it
was
good.
So
for qualifying, I was using the reality all day, and then I switched to an attention star towards the last 2 games. I think it was when they just started to open up, but it took a long time for that pattern to open up. In my opinion, I didn't see them blow open. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but I did not see them just blow wide open like a lot of patterns do these days.
No, yeah, I was a little bit surprised because the lane surface hooks a little bit more there. We've always talked about. Usually the fronts are a little bit more hooky. I thought they weren't.
They were super tight down lane.
I don't know if it was because the ball was burning, but I mean, I thought they were super tight down lane in the re-oil when I bowled you.
Oh,
because
they were even tighter.
Well, I bowled on that pair, and I had a lot of free friction there where I could throw it left and it would hook. And when I bowled you, I didn't have that. It really hit I mean, you can see here, you can look at the graph. There is quite a long forward pass, and I don't know if it just played like I was hitting that forward pass, but like not that far to the right. And I can never get the ball to come around the corner. So, I forced you to throw a lot of strikes there when I switched to a phase 2 and really started to hit them pretty good.
Yeah, what I was going to say was we both started out real slow. As far as
we had the lowest
scoring pace,
we had the lowest scoring pace in the cell or whatever you want to call it in our little area.
Little bay, yeah, it was 6
because it is
bay.
6 lanes, yeah. And then the next game, I think nobody was really. I mean, if I punched out, I shot 240, so I bowled fairly decent that game. I think we had like the second highest match total because then the other guys to our right,
they dropped off a little bit.
They dropped off. The one guy I beat him, and he had like 395, and the other guy had like 410. You had 420, I had 399. I think who was to our right?
The lefty, I can't remember his name, and Jekko.
No. To our right again.
Oh, Steve Wagner. Or no, I'm sorry. That was the second match. You know what? I don't have a clue. I don't remember at all. It was
Wagner on that pair too.
It could have been Kyle, the leader, the squad leader.
Yeah, whatever it was. But yeah, so we ended up catching, I think both, or we were close to catching both people after that game because our game, we skyrocketed once we figured him out.
Yeah, and then
it was just kind of sucked. I caught you because I could have put pressure on almost anybody else because you had 5 in a row after
you made that. You made that phase 2 ball change. I forget if that was at the end of the game or beginning of the second game.
Fourth frame.
Okay.
Fourth frame of the second game.
You made that ball change, and as soon as you threw the first one, I was like, I have to keep striking. Yeah, I have no choice here because that ball looked really, really good. Yes, Nick, New York State Masters.
Yeah, it was.
No, you didn't catch us on TV on the finals or anything. No. Just kidding. So as soon as I saw that ball go down the lane, I'm like, I have no choice but to throw a lot of strikes because you're not missing.
That ball has rolled really low for me since I drilled it. It's been kind of like a go-to. The last one I drilled wasn't really all that and a bag of chips, but this one's all that and a bag of chips and dip. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So,
so lucky enough, I get that match. Then I'm paired up with the tournament leader, lefty. So back-to-back lefties. He's throwing purple. I got my reality. Good thing is I started on that pair for qualifying, and I started with the front 5. And then I think the reason why I didn't keep striking, other than it's obviously tough lane pattern, but I missed, I think, and then I made an adjustment off that miss, thinking like, okay, well I missed a little bit and it overhooked, so maybe I have room to move a little left. Well, I was wrong. So then I still shot 220 that game, but there was a ton of hold, at least what I think is hold. I was just stuffing it into the head pin, but if I missed right, it was a 2-pin or a 210. Like
when I bowled you in match play, you could literally throw it straight at the head pin and it never hooked. It was unbelievable.
It's great.
The ball, like my ball backed up too. I was throwing urethane though at the time, and I was like, okay, well, whatever. Then I watched you throw your reality, and the ball just you missed left, and it just sat there and struck. And I said, well, this is unfortunate because they're definitely a lot tighter on this pair. But you could do it on the right lane on the next match too.
Yes,
not as much, I don't think, but you still had that semi good look.
But the second game
fell apart a little bit.
He struggled a little. I probably got the pressure of
I'm going Kyle Haines.
Kyle Haines.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd be pressured.
You felt it.
I was nervous for more of the chairs.
Settle.
Yeah, I was nervous at the chairs. I was.
There were benches though, so they were hard to.
Yeah, seen you.
So, so I knocked off 2 lefties. I thought that was fun.
You were the lefty killer, and I was hoping you were going to catch Matt or Dan Vick, because then if you won again, it would have been wild. But you ended up matching up with Brian Leclerc, and it was pretty good match.
It was still a good match. I had a chance, and
the
difference was who was making less mistakes. And I switched to, after the first game and almost halfway through, I switched to an IQ Tour.
And you're like, this isn't the right ball. But then you started killing them.
Dude, I didn't miss except for one frame. And had I not missed that one frame, I think I would have been right
Close.
there
You
with
would have
him
put the pressure on him.
to,
Yeah, it
to
would have been
actually
good.
strike out in the 10th. Yeah. And then, or at least double in the 10th or something like
It was
that.
interesting because you tried to play a little straighter where you were before, and Brian was farther to the right all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Taylor because I was kind of like the sacrificial lamb. You know, me and Taylor were the sacrificial lambs. We were both out. We're watching everybody else bowl. And he's like, I think my dad's got the advantage because he's been playing far to the right, and nobody's really playing that far right. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. I said, but Kyle's got a really good look when he misses left. And then Brian goes up and throws the first shot, and he moves 10 left. And Taylor and I look at each other like, what the heck is he doing? Now, I don't know if he struck. I think he did strike. But then he tried to play over there, and it just, for him, the ball never did the right thing. But he always hit the pocket, or he was always hitting the head pin, or always close to the pocket where he didn't leave a split. He kept it close. And then he fished a little bit around. You weren't striking at the time either. So, you know, he was fishing around, not striking. You were trying to strike, and you were trying to make some smaller adjustments. I think he made larger adjustments.
Yeah, I went left a little bit, went right a little bit.
Yeah.
I just
He went left big, like 10
Yeah.
boards. I didn't see you jump that
no,
far.
I did not.
You were trying to make smaller moves, and then he just went back to the gutter, and then you finally got into a weaker ball, which I don't know what in your mind possessed you to go from a reality, which you haven't used in a year, to an IQ Tour, which you haven't used in a year.
Well,
There's no progression there. Like, oh yeah, I know this is what I should do. No, we're just gonna grab the one that you almost left at home. That I said, Kyle, didn't you make me fix that one yesterday for this tournament? You're like, yeah, I should probably grab that. I was like, yeah, because we're just about to leave.
No, actually, you did not want me to throw that ball. You were like,
I didn't like it.
You were pointing at the bags. And I'm like, I'm gonna try this one. And
I pointed at the bags to see if you wanted anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were, because obviously we saw the lanes differently.
Sure.
I mean, the reality was that I was expecting you to go to a Summit Ascent, or something that.
So the
like
reason
an
I
Ion
didn't,
Pro,
the
or
Summit
something with
Ascent
a
was
bigger core.
The Summit Ascent rolled too smooth, meaning it just, if I knew it wasn't going
I
to
know
roll
what that
over.
means, smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clean and it's very blended. It doesn't
Yes.
really make a huge move.
And then I could have switched to my phase 2, which probably would have been the best move.
Or your absolute power.
Do you know where the phase 2 was?
Here.
In the back of the truck.
But yeah, I think
So then
you
I
said
had,
that.
but I had the IQ Tour there, and
Did
I'm
you have
like,
your absolute power?
I think I put that back in the truck too, because I don't care for that ball too much. So what I'm getting at here is my thought process with the IQ Tour, which I know is a super weak ball, like it's clean.
Yeah, and you haven't thrown it
But
in a year.
It has a touch of surface on it.
Oh, does
So I
because I
figure
fixed it.
no, I mean that ball naturally is surfaced. It's not a polished ball,
Okay,
whatever. That's
okay.
what I'm saying.
All right.
So my thought process was, okay, so it's weaker, so I can move in a little bit and get it to angle, and it's got a little bit of surface on it. So maybe if I miss here or there, it'll kind of pick up for me. Not 100% true, because I did leave like a washout or something that.
Yeah, but you struck a lot with it. 'Cause
Oh,
you're like,
I only missed once with it, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, you threw a double, and then I think you threw like a double, then you washed out, and then you threw a double. And you're like, yeah, this isn't the right ball. Then threw the next 3 or something like that. And I was like, what do you mean it's not the right one? I mean, I don't understand how you go from that ball to that ball.
My thought was, I don't think this is the best ball, but I'm in the 7th frame and I'm not going anywhere else. I'm not changing again. You know what I mean? I think that.
Well,
was my
at
thought.
that point, you had to throw. I think we both said that because you came down and you said that to me. I was like, I think you need to change balls, but I don't think you can. And you're like, yeah, it's too late in the game. I was like, yeah, because you've got him on the ropes. You're right there.
Yeah.
If he doesn't strike or leave something, and you get that strike for the 30, I mean, you're neck and neck going into the 10th with kind of an advantage with the strike. He didn't really miss, I don't think. I think he bowled pretty well.
His 10th frame was perfect.
Yeah. No, but I
he
don't
had no
mean
pressure
that.
on it either.
But in the 7th frame too, I mean, he was still hitting the pocket pretty good. I mean, you had to basically throw them all to force him. And, I don't know, ball changing there would have been bad, but I just didn't expect you to go from a ball you haven't thrown in a year. I mean, that's like, you've probably thrown both those balls the most you've ever thrown them in a span of 4 years. And you just got the one fixed up today, or you're like the
day before. Yeah.
I don't understand how you do that. Usually you have a core few, for me, it's like an Ion Max, then like a phase 2 Sublime Focus,
4 urethanes.
4 urethanes and a level. Like if the urethanes don't work, I have these 4 or 5 that are like, they go everywhere with me, that I bring everywhere. And then there's you, who's like, I don't bring these anywhere. We'll use them both. I mean, maybe that's what you need to do.
I guess that's the strategy that I should take. But
you didn't
congrats to Brian for beating me.
Congrats to Kyle for beating me.
And then Matt Fazone, Matty-Tuzzies, he made the finals. He made it 3 rounds.
He played against
Colin Leclerc made it 3 rounds. Then left to bowl was Alex Cavagnaro, Dan Vick. Who am I missing? Brian. He made it at the 4th round.
And then an older guy. I don't know what his name was.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know who he was either.
From Utica.
But ultimately, champion. Congratulations to Dan Vick, the unstoppable lefty that just could hit the entire pocket and strike. It was impressive to watch.
He got a lot of good hits. I mean, he used that hit to his advantage against Matt, I will say.
All right, so let's talk about this this Weber story. For those that are unaware, Weber University was
they have a bowling team, first of all.
Weber International University, I should say, was involved in a USBC investigation after a Reddit post, nonetheless, that one of the players was talking about actually, let me back up. He basically responded to a Reddit post about, I think, altering bowling balls with actually, I can read it. We literally do here at drill. Weber. So like they
okay.
Yeah, and then we literally drill 16-pound purple hammers for higher diffs and soften them just so we can push the boundaries and throw them more. So it wasn't really clear in the Reddit post what he was talking about, but ultimately the USBC did an investigation, found out that they were kind of experimenting with a black hammer, a purple hammer. A coach knew about it, but meaning he approved them to just, yeah, go have fun, go test out that black hammer, see what it does.
Purple hammer?
No, they started with a black one, 78, 16-pound, I think it was. But it kind of went on from there, where another player started messing with a purple hammer, and then they used them in a sweeper at the Kegel training facility. The Kegel training guy knew about it, coach knew about it, but again, I don't think any of their intentions at first were to try to use them in college competition and alter their or give themselves an advantage. But they did use it in that sweeper. So the USBC in the collegiate playing rules has a rule that if you disparage or hurt the name of 10-pin bowling, you can be suspended, which is ultimately what happened. Interesting story, because like they didn't actually use them in sanctioned competition or college competition. They were basically just experimenting.
How do you know?
Them. It says it in the report.
How do you know? How do you truly know?
Well, so they have ball cards in USBC.
I used a softened ball at a town and country sweeper.
Well, then you're gonna have to be suspended.
And then I went to another tournament I just didn't tell you about. And then I used it at another tournament I didn't tell you about.
Right. Yeah.
So I actually didn't do that, by the way.
Right.
I'm just saying they can
yeah.
lie, and
right.
it doesn't matter because they're going to get a slap on the hand.
At least with collegiate bowling, similar to Masters and US Open and PBA, you have to write down the serial number. Mm-hmm. So it's impossible to say whether or not they wrote down a serial number.
Well, you can literally take a picture of a legal one and then put that on the thing and say, "Oh, I used that one."
That's what I'm saying.
Like
it's possible.
There is no real evidence of what actually happened because you can't tell.
Right.
You can't tell at all. So I don't, I think if you look at it here, and they literally said that we literally drill 16 pounds for higher distance, soften them so we can push the boundaries and throw them more. I don't understand why you would say that if you're not actually using the ball in some sort of competition. Like, I don't understand why you would answer that. First of all, I don't know why you would write that anyways. For the people who got suspended, you're idiots. That's mean to say, but you're stupid for putting that on there because the purple hammer is already in that black and that gray area of, is it soft? Is it not soft?
Right.
So they deserve whatever punishment they get for even putting this on here. But I mean, I'm not against people because Packy and a bunch of other guys did this, but then they used it in probably not a sanctioned event, but still you're bowling in college, and if you're doing well, especially like this place does pretty well sometimes, people are going to take that at context. Like, oh, maybe they're softening all their bowling balls, or maybe they're doing this and that. So it not only leads to a bigger, it's just the tip of the iceberg. You don't know what's actually really going on. I'm all for them being suspended. I think that's how it should be.
What do you think about this rule, though, where it says even just altering a bowling ball is potentially grounds for not necessarily suspension, but
I alter my bowling balls every day.
Well, I get that. I'm saying, but
you surface on them whenever you go bowl, so you're altering.
So it says directly or indirectly tampering with lanes, pins, bowling balls, so they no longer meet USBC specifications. So altering your surface doesn't mean
no, it meets specifications. They're talking about actually making it softer.
Softer, yes.
I mean, they wrote in there that they softened them purposely.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, even if they didn't use it, and there's no proof that they didn't actually try and use it, or they haven't used it anywhere else. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to say that they should be suspended for doing probably not the smartest thing.
But with the thing that I don't, here's what another point of it that makes me kind of uneasy about the USBC, or I should say more uneasy about the USBC, is that the USBC has a couple of times, or with a couple of different rules, you can't disparage them. So meaning you can't talk about them in a negative manner.
We do that all the time. Or
else they're going to fine you or whatever. That happened at the Masters with Tom Doherty.
Belmo, I thought
maybe?
It was too, right?
Oh, Belmo. That's the first one. And then this other rule where it says you can't even alter the bowling, even altering the bowling ball, for any reason. Doesn't even have to be used. It says this in the report. Doesn't even have to be used in competition. You could just be messing around here at the bowling alley, and that could be grounds for suspension or some sort of punishment.
I mean, that's a little bit silly, I think. They did it on YouTube.
Right. Well, that's the thing is
you can't.
They gave them exemption. In this report, it says YouTubers such as Packy Hanrahan,
really?
because they're open about it, not a problem. But if you're messing around at the bowling alley, suddenly it's a problem.
Well, I mean, wasn't there, I think we talked about it. Someone said that their teammate turned them in and said, yeah, it's true.
That's speculation because they didn't actually say that the teammates are the ones that turned them in.
It said it was in a hyperlink that they lied about it. They lied, and then somebody turned them back in, and then they got in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, all it says in the report, though, I can only go by what it says in the report, is that they were turned in.
Yeah,
from the Reddit post, not from necessarily their teammates.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that if they kind of didn't let them use, I mean, Pack, I guess if he's not going to use it, but I mean, CTD did it too. I mean, it's hard to differentiate, but at the same time, you're in college and you're bowling those tournaments with the serial code. I think it's kind of a little bit interesting.
But what about something I brought up earlier today? So if you're going to say it with that rule, if you're going to say with the altering of equipment not even used in play, that's against the rules. Okay. Well, it's against the rules in USBC to gamble while bowling, and yet
we do brackets.
Leagues all across the country are playing cards. In fact, the scoring system has cards in embedded in it, so that you can play right there on your scoring system. So basically, thousands upon thousands of bowlers in the USBC are susceptible to being punished because they're breaking the rules while actually bowling. I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying, if they're going down this road of punishing you, possibly because you were messing around.
Well, why do you need to throw them more? Well, I don't understand what it means by we can push the boundaries and throw them more. If you do not have intent to use this in a competition.
This is a good one. I got here late. My mailbox is made of bowling balls. Am I in trouble?
No, you should do that at your house.
That's good. Fridge.
The statement says, just so we can push the boundaries and throw them more.
Right. That's just admitting guilt right there.
You literally are saying that you're going to try and throw them in a tournament or somewhere else.
Right.
So that's evidence right there that they're going to try and use them. So they altered it in an idea to use them in something. I don't understand why you would. This is what I would say. I don't understand why you're altering the bowling ball and then saying, oh, we weren't going to use them when you literally wrote it on Reddit.
Yeah. What's the point?
So you kind of gave yourself in, and then I don't understand why you have to tamper with them anyways. People have done it on YouTube, whatever. But if you're a collegiate bowler, why are you worrying about tampering with bowling balls so you can push the boundaries and throw them more when that ball's already at the boundary?
Yeah. Literally, it's at
that ball is the most that's the most controversial ball.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like that is the dumbest thing I think I've ever. That's like you ever seen the person on Facebook? She's like a crack addict, and she's like she calls the cops, and she's like, this person stole my crack, and the guy's like, so you want me to arrest you? And the lady's like, no, I want my crack back, and he's like, that's illegal. Like you can't have crack. That's basically what they're saying right here. It's like I soften the ball up so I can throw it more, but I'm not going to use it. So why is it illegal?
Yeah,
I don't. That yeah, this whole thing I get what you're saying with the cards and this, but at the top, we are trying to push the boundaries to throw them more. And if you're trying to throw them, especially in college, you have intent to use it. So I think their suspension is well deserved.
Intent.
But
did they actually commit an offense? Well, according to the USBC, anybody could alter a bowling ball.
They literally put it in, we'll just say methylphenidate. It probably
did. No, it was MEK.
What are we having a discussion about?
That if it wasn't actually used in play, does the USBC have the authority to suspend somebody, or why should they have the authority to suspend somebody?
Why should
it hasn't been used in play? Is what I'm saying.
Why are they pushing the boundaries so we can throw them more?
I see the sentence.
They literally said they basically admitted that they've thrown them in something,
or they are at least trying to.
100%. You can't say that and be like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna." Listen, this is literally history. When the guy got drunk and told everybody what he was doing to strike and methylphenidate.
Oh, right.
This person was probably drunk and typed it up on Reddit, and now he's getting in trouble and wants mommy and daddy to save him.
No, they admitted to it and took their suspension. So,
What's the suspension?
They're just missing the. Hang on.
They're missing one game.
I think it's one tournament. Let me scroll through here.
Yes, Devin is correct. They could have gotten away with it if they hadn't advertised it. Exactly, and that's the problem. They literally wrote, "We're trying to change it so we can throw them more," and if then they went and used them, nobody's gonna know. Then what does that say about the coach?
So it's described in here. The coach, at least in the report, only told them, you take the black hammer and have fun, kind of thing. Like if you're just messing around.
But that's even worse.
But then they did a second ball, a purple hammer, which they were not supposed to do.
But that's even worse if they do a black hammer.
Why is that?
Because it's 78D. They have 5 points. They can drop it and make it.
Yeah, but they got
legal.
They got it down to like 50 or 30 or something because they set it overnight.
Oh my God.
He said it was so bad. The student, which by the way, we don't know their names. They refer to them as athlete 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know why you can't put their name in. First of all, they're adults. Secondly, like I said earlier, if you have a football player that's suspended for doping or doing something stupid off the field, you're going to know that guy's name. Like ESPN is going to report on it, right? You're going to know John Smith, drove drunk last night, so now he's suspended from the football team.
I'm going to have to say that I disagree with their probation for a year.
No, probation doesn't mean anything. That just means you can't get in trouble.
Yeah,
it's not like you're not able to bowl. The coach
should be suspended. I mean, you can't tell it's literally in the rule book not to do it, and then you told your players to do it.
But is it clear? I wonder if it's clear in the rule book because I didn't look it up. That you can't even mess with it without using it in competition.
I mean, I guess whatever. I mean, I guess Packy's in a different state because he bowls in different stuff. But like college, I guess where you have to write your serial number down. But like I said above, I mean, they literally in the first sentence that they wrote is, we do this, we drill heavier bowling balls, and then we put them in there to try and get them to push the boundaries. Like, I don't know what more of these. Oh, let everybody have fun. They literally are guilty because of what they wrote.
Right. I get it. They admitted that they were trying to push the boundaries and throw them more.
Oh my God.
I mean, young adults are not smart. No offense.
Neither is their coach.
No offense to the young adults.
Neither is their coach. Like I don't get. So when I played baseball,
mm-hmm.
Okay, rolling a bat, right? You ever seen rolling a bat? Do you know what rolling a bat is?
Do I look like a baseball player?
Okay, so when you roll a bat, what you do is you put pressure on the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they did is they came out the BB core, which BB core doesn't come off as fast. So a lot of home runs went down. Like there wasn't as many home runs. The ball doesn't fly as good. It's more truer to wood.
Like NCAA wanted the BB core so that they wouldn't
Well, it's a
with metal
standard.
bats it flies off. Super
It's a standard
hard, right?
now. It used to be a -5 or a drop 5. So if your bat was 32 in length, it was 5 or 3 under. It was 5 under that in the ounces. Now it's a 3. So then they were hitting, dude. It was unbelievable because I hit with we used to use BESR, which, dude, those things were so juiced. It was unreal. So then the people were getting hurt because they were coming off so fast,
150 miles an hour.
So then they changed the weight, and then eventually it was so fast that they were like, all right, let's make a, I think it's a bigger wall in there, so it doesn't have as much flex or doesn't bounce off as hard, whatever it is. So now the BB core, that was in my high school days, but like middle high school, that you couldn't have the BSR, you had to have BB core. So BB core, like, they didn't come off as fast. And so when we went to college, I didn't know, right? We played this one team, UNC Pembroke, and word on the street is they rolled their bats. Because if you looked at their bats had like wear marks on the label, and it was unnatural. And I was like, what the heck? And somebody's like, oh yeah, the rumor on the street is they roll their bats. I'm like, what does that do? And they're like, well, they try to break the inner wall. So that way when you break the inner wall, the bat it hits more like a BESR. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they hit for days.
Yeah.
But their bats had and that's illegal. Now, I don't really know if it's true or not, but I'm just saying, like, if you're like, yeah, we were rolling our bats on his college team, if you're like, yeah, we rolled a few bats to see what they would do, I'm sure that the NCAA would do something about that as well.
Because you think so?
Probably. I mean, bowling is not as serious in college as other sports. Like, I had a drug test. But I had an NCAA drug test.
Yeah.
They watched me pee. I had to be up at 5 a.m. If I was late, I was kicked off.
Marked
the team.
off.
Yeah, like, you're done. Like, there is no college thing here, so the USB stepping in on this, I think, is completely correct.
But do you think that they would have, if that team was only using them in practice? And I get where you're going,
which is irrelevant if they use it in practice or not. I mean, who cares?
What I'm saying is, if they didn't
why would you use it in practice, first of all?
I get it. That's what I said. I get what you're saying. But if they didn't use it in play, have you broken any rules?
According to the rule, yes.
In bowling, yes, they said so.
You literally
I'm saying
broke
in the NCAA, like, would they do the same thing?
I think the NCAA,
even though the umpire didn't catch that they were using rolled bats, how would they know? I mean,
well, I don't know how you would test it or anything. It's just like, it was rumor, right? Like, I don't really know. Would they? I mean,
you guys were just mad that they were out hitting you that day.
Yeah, we eventually beat them. They were good. They were a solid team though, but they would get guys from all over. Anyways, would they do anything? I mean, the NCAA kind of does whatever they want, but I mean, if you look at like football and stuff, yeah, like they've probably suspended people for less for signing an autograph and taking $10 for it.
Well, that's a good point. So, that was back in the day. Now they can make millions.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, back in the day, they would suspend a guy. They would literally take all the accolades. Like, look at Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
He took money, and I don't know what his level of what he actually took, because he probably could have made a lot of money. But okay, he did a few here and there, and they literally stripped his Heisman. They stripped the national championship from the team. They stripped everything. So you're telling me that they literally altered the surface of the ball. Now, they could have used it, and they basically said they did, or they were going to,
right?
Based upon this report. So if they did, or they had intent to, yeah, 100%. Everything should be stripped from the team, because they do that in every other sport. But now they just get a slap on the wrist because it's USBC, and I don't think they're really upholding it. Now, regardless if I saw somebody post on whatever, and they're like, oh, they're adults. They can do whatever they want with the ball. Well, clearly they can't if you read the rule book. And plus, they're in college.
Who would say that?
Idiots.
They can do whatever they want with it.
Because they bought
not
it.
True.
Because they bought it. That was the word. They bought the ball so they can do what they want.
Yeah, you buy bats, you buy gloves, you buy cleats,
but you still don't tamper with it to go without the specifications. And they literally wrote so we can push the boundaries.
Right.
Like, you literally are giving yourself up there. I'm sorry if I'm agreeing with you, Kyle, on this, but this is just stupidity at its finest. And in any other sport, I think the same thing happened. Look at Reggie Bush. Takes 10, and in bowling, back in the day, you could take money. You could go bowl for money and take money, but no other sport you could. So now, you know, they've got a leg up. Back in the day, they were able to make money, while these guys who are actually making money, like, they could have made a ton more money than bowlers could. And the guy takes an autograph session for $5,000, and his whole team gets stripped, and his Heisman gets stripped, and he's basically not allowed in the Hall of Fame anymore. Like, what are we doing here? Pete Rose gambled on the other team. I mean, it's probably not the same because it was gambling, but I mean, there's been more punishment for less. You know what I mean?
Do you think, on bowling related, do you think that they can go back and reissue the awards and accolades and whatever.
In bowling?
No. In college sports, now that everybody's allowed to make.
No, they won't do that because it's.
I know it was the rule at the time.
Yeah, it was yeah. I mean, Johnny Manziel probably made millions still. I mean, the dude was an absolute. I watched the documentary. He was not shy. Oh yeah, we got money from this guy, that guy. I went on trips over here, take my teammates. We'd go over here, do that, go over Mexico, come back, play the game, kill them. I mean, crazy talented. But I just think this is a silly. People saying that they shouldn't be. I mean, I guess some of the guys haven't been in trouble, but I mean, in college, I think it's a little bit different because I think it's different in college. Packy's on YouTube making a YouTube video. These guys are doing it behind closed doors. Their coach is not very smart, clearly, because he let them do it. And then when they got caught, they literally wrote on Reddit that they were trying to push the boundaries. I mean, this is literally just, I don't know what people think. I don't understand. This is literally black and white. They were trying to throw it or they were going to. And if you're using it in practice when you can't use it in tournaments, if Joey said they're fishing for a way to compete with the better teams, if you're trying to find a way to compete with the better teams and you're trying to soften a purple hammer up, and in practice you're trying to throw it, it just means that you've got the wrong mindset. You're trying to cut corners to be better.
That's pretty much what young kids do, right? They don't, I mean, obviously not the majority, but that's a mindset of young people. You know, how do I get to point A to point B the fastest way?
I mean, it's true. I mean, you definitely want to
do it. Because work is not the fastest way.
No, but you definitely want to try and do it to compete. But I mean, what's the other thing? I mean, I don't really know on here. Did it say about was it one of the top players? Was it one of the bottom players?
They don't say anything.
You know what I mean? Because if you're like a mid-tier guy and you're trying to break in, shoot, you're gonna do what you got to do. I mean, you might get the approval from the coach, but then you might try to play with a few other balls to try to get them to roll better. And I mean, you know, I don't understand. Yeah, they used it in a sweeper. I don't. Even if you're bowling against people, it's still you still run by USBC rules.
Yeah, so it wasn't a sanctioned sweeper, but
you still run by those rules.
But that's one of the things that bugged me was that they actually used it in competition.
That's probably what
regardless of whether it was closed competition, whatever. But it was, you know, you're bowling games, and for me, like in my mind, I couldn't even let myself cheat. I will give myself a foul if the foul light didn't go off. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. Like, I'm not that type of person. If I touch the lane or whatever, I would make sure to give myself a foul. And I've watched people argue about touching the lane and not taking the foul. But yeah, that's just the type of person I am. Like, I can't live in my own mind with, you know, being dishonest. At least as an adult. When I was a kid, you lie to your parents all the time. Hi, Mom. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I think if it were strictly like, oh, we were just screwing around, we heard about this methyl ethyl ketone from back in the day, we wanted to see if it did the same thing. But you're right. His words on Reddit were pretty damning.
Yeah.
They basically stated his own guilt.
Yes.
And why would you, again, dumb kids, why would you say anything? Why would you be like, oh, yeah, we do this all the time?
Well, they wrote we do this all the time. Like they do it to multiple bowling balls. Now I'm reading it as we're kind of here. I mean, I just don't understand, you know, I don't understand the point of it. I don't understand why you would try to alter it, I guess. I mean, it makes no sense. If you're trying to get better and you're going to alter this to try to get an advantage, or if maybe they do it, maybe they had a cover story for it. You don't know.
Well, it looks like, you know, if you read when you read the interviews, basically they talk to athlete number 1, then athlete number 2, athlete number 3, athlete number 4. And then after one of the other athletes contradicted athlete number 1, they went back to athlete number 1 and said, hey, so-and-so said this, and they were like, yeah, we tested up purple too. So something like that.
So they lied.
Yeah, athlete number 1 lied for sure.
So that's what I'm saying. They literally lied because they were trying to get out of it. Exactly.
Right.
So maybe that's what my buddy sent me. He said they caught that kid lied, the first guy, and he didn't get to the fourth guy or whatever, and the fourth guy said exactly what happened.
Right.
So now you've got
it wasn't so much throwing him under the bus. It's like, okay, we're here now. I'm in the room with the investigator. Yeah. I'm going to divulge the information that I know, which happened to be.
So if he somehow left it out,
right,
by accident,
yeah,
okay. Now it gets even more clear.
The turntables have turned.
Now it gets even more clear. I mean, you literally wrote on Reddit. You didn't tell them about it the first time, and they had to go back and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that one." How do you forget about 2?
Right, the second one.
Like, how do you forget?
Oh yeah, it was a purple.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's this is kind of a little bit silly. I guess maybe people are gonna hate me for it.
Like
But
the only thing I
whatever.
could say is I could see myself messing around and soaking a ball for fun, right? Like I could, well, especially now that we have the channel, but I could see myself like, oh, your dad told me about that from back in the day. Like, oh, that'd be interesting to see what it does to a ball.
It doesn't.
But would I be suspended for that?
I mean, no, because you put it on YouTube.
Well, no, if I didn't, then
no,
yes.
because you, yeah, if somebody told on you, but that's the thing, they told them themselves. Like that is literally, I can't believe it. That's like I said, the story we saw earlier when the lady was like, "That's my crack." It's illegal, man. Like it doesn't matter. Like they stole, but yeah, okay, I'll get yours back, but then I'll put you both in the truck. Like, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, it looks like somebody lied and somebody told the truth, and then they went back and it's like, oh yeah, that guy told you about that one too. Whoops, I forgot about that one. Then they had the thing up there. I mean, people are going to defend these guys, but I just don't see it. I don't see it here. It was behind closed doors. Then they competed with it. Did they know that they were competing with it?
Yeah, I mean, look at this way: 90% of the stuff we bowl, and I mean, not 90, but a lot of the stuff we bowl is unsanctioned.
Yeah, but if you think about it, we have a lot of faith in other people.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we bowl in the tournaments that we bowl in are majority major league.
Oh, there you go. Canadians were soaking at any tournament this year. Funny thing, they bowled terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make you bowl better necessarily because it could just mess with the ball reaction and make it hook early. But I still agree with myself.
You don't say.
Because I don't think that you should. Even in this case, I mean, there's so many variables because they could have used it or they could have used a different one. And they could have wrote it. You can take a picture on your phone of the serial number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so you have it on your mind.
Yeah,
so you have it.
So I don't use it in case they test it. Right. I mean, they're going to test the other one. Then you said you used it in a competition. Then you said you're going to do this. I mean, I mean, circle the wagons, folks. I mean, you're literally round yourself up here. I mean,
circle the wagons.
I mean, I'm envisioning these guys are in the middle, like we didn't do it, and then there's like horses, like within those things from Oregon Trail where they're circling around
wagons.
Wagons, and they're circling around these guys. I mean, listen. I mean, people are going to hate me for it.
What you're talking about?
It's like a cartoon. People are going to hate me for this, but
I know what Oregon Trail is.
That's fine. This is fine. People are going to hate me for it. This is extremely deserved. I mean, you've got what? You're getting suspended for one thing. Yeah. One tournament.
One match. Yeah.
God.
Right. So last week, we briefly talked about the Open Championships. We speculated on some things.
Also, are they two-handed or one-handed?
Doesn't say.
Oh, I'd like to know.
They probably wouldn't mention it because of
imagine if a two-hander did it.
IDing the players. Be quadruple cheating.
Imagine if they were left-handed two-handers.
All right. So last week we talked about the Players Tour starting up this week. Not the Players Tour, sorry, the Open Championships. Joey got me with the Players Tour there in the last comment. And we were speculating on bowling balls. We were speculating on what the lanes would be like. But now we've seen our first few shots of the Open Championships, of the Bowlers Journal. Interestingly,
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Who said that? Oh, are you still on it? Are you still on the web?
Yeah, right here.
So a couple of big scores from the Bowlers Journal. Already had a 300 and a 300s and an 840.
I wonder if they soaked their balls.
And we haven't seen many shots from the convention center, but it looks like the Bowlers Journal is a bit more playable, and I think that's always kind of the case because it's always in a more high friction center.
Yeah, if you think about it, remember Reno Bowlers Journal?
Yes, I do.
Oh, do you?
I do. Clearly, like it happened yesterday.
They played a little bit easier on that low end.
They sure did. Yeah. But yeah, so
I remember I was up against this wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching you bowl.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Never mind then.
But yeah, so basically it does look like the Bowlers Journal, at least from a couple of shots that we've seen, maybe you have a little bit more room, maybe the way the lanes are built or topography, maybe it's the age of the surface, which I'm not sure. I think it's
All-Star lanes?
Yeah, I think it's around 20-ish years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're going to have a little bit more free friction there. They're going to play a little bit differently. We'll have to see. I mean, they look like they're pretty scoreable there, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
We saw Amaletto throw some shots, Mike Albee.
Dave Bankburn, what the heck?
And can't put that one up. I don't care what. If you're listening, you can go to YouTube and check out that comment. That was a good one. So basically, Mike Albee playing straight down the ditch.
Is he the lefty?
Yes. Oh my God, I hate you. Yes, he's a lefty.
I thought that was him because they said Mike Albee, and I'm like, I can't be this guy or that guy because I know they're right-handed.
Yeah.
And then it was him lefty. I liked where he was.
Yeah, well, no kidding. Dead straight down the lane.
Liked it. I think he threw a dead flush strike too.
I think it was doubles and singles that they showed. Maybe it was a team event. But Amaletto was playing like 15-10, which is kind of basically where everything happens to be most years, right? Like, so it doesn't look like we're expecting.
In play. I mean, those were at the center though.
That was at the convention center, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm going to assume most guys are going to be. I think you looked at the topography a little bit. It's a brand new lane surface. I think things are going to be a little bit more straighter in front of you this year. I mean, obviously time will tell. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think All-Star lanes will have a little bit more friction, obviously, because they're older lane surface. And the newer lanes, I think it's kind of good this way because you kind of give two different people a look. Like, if you need a little bit of that hook, you're going to be able to get it at All-Star lanes. If you want to bowl a Bowler's Journal, you'll be able to do well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hopefully you don't take too much information and say, this is how I'm going to play them over here because they're probably going to be a little bit tighter.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how people adjust and how much different they play. But you're kind of getting people who need hook a little bit on the Bowler's Journal and people who might have a little higher rev rate might like the other center a little bit more, the convention center a little bit more. We'll have to see. Time will tell. But everything's right in the track right now, like the real track.
Yeah.
Not
it's a 5 to 10 track.
Yeah, the 5 to 10 track,
the OG track.
Which normally when we go to any, South Point's pretty solid, but usually that track area goes out pretty quickly, especially in Reno. It went out pretty quick for you guys. So, it'll be interesting to see how much different. They'll probably have similar load structure on the team event, but doubles and singles I expect to be completely different. So we'll have to wait for that. But
at least at the Bowler's Journal, they were playing. I said right up the gutter. I was told that 5's not the gutter, but that was the third game, and with 5 on a pair. So
how many? What game?
It was the third game, 5 on a pair.
Yeah.
So if he's playing 5, he had to have been playing the actual ditch to start.
Maybe, or he just sat there.
Held up.
I mean, he used the guy who shot E40. Yeah, he used a weaker type of ball, little cover heavy ball, depending on who knows what surface he used. But it'll be interesting to see guys who want to play straight are probably gonna have a good look straight in this convention center for sure. If All-Star lanes people are around there, so it'll be good for our guys who play a little bit straighter. I think they'll have a good look.
Maybe my reality will have some hold.
Are you actually gonna bring that ball, or are you gonna put it away for a while?
I don't know. It went last year.
No, we got to figure out what we're doing. We got to find out who's driving, who's gonna take some of my bowling balls. I mean, I only want to bring like 3 or 4
bowling balls.
Extra bowling ball. No. I think
we got our scout working. Our scout's already working hard. He's figured out what ball people are using, where they are in the lane.
Yeah, Joey, I think he messaged the guy or he found it on Facebook.
Yeah,
what
he found it on Facebook.
And then Joey looked up some of his accolades. Turns out the guy's pretty darn good. So
you don't say. An Eagle,
senior Masters champion, 300 last year in the Bowler's Journal 3. And this guy's pretty accomplished. I don't expect to do anything like that out there.
No.
So he's obviously pretty good. And bowling early too.
Yeah,
which is like, all right. I don't expect anybody to whack them in anything. Boom, 840.
Yeah.
Man, you got a long time to wait for your money.
That is a long time too. Unless do they pay jackpots out? No, they don't. Well, that 300 pot goes all season.
You get your check right at the end. So I mean, this guy's gonna wait till August to get this thing that he just bowled in March. That's 6 months away, man.
And the other funny thing was, as per usual, every year we see this. I feel like Storm Products team number 1
is the lead.
Is the current leader, which
not 3 different players who didn't bowl for Storm.
That's right. Radical, Motive, and Hammer. I think they had shirts on,
and then
which
2
is kind of funny.
Guys.
But yeah, basically, it seems like it's the same group every year that gets their picture up. They shot 30-80, very respectable score, obviously. But it's just a brief moment in time that their picture's on because next week or the week after.
What is it? 3,000. What's the lead right now?
30-80.
3,038.
30-80. 3,080.
That's what I said.
You said 3,038.
Yeah, because that's what you said. 3,080. I mean, that's not unhittable. I think that's about 1,030 a game, 1,025 a game, 1,027 a game. So I mean, that's not terrible. It's only 27 over even. But it's interesting coming from those guys. You expect a team that's called Storm Products 1 with some of the Storm guys. I thought they'd have a little bit more.
But they always go early.
But they usually hit them a little bit better than that too. It's a little low for them.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they had a few good players on there, I think they had a
do you think
a lot of good players.
Do you think with the topography, it's hard to get in? Like, again, we are totally speculating because we haven't bowled on them.
We didn't see any videos. I don't know. I mean, I'm really not.
You can't give it away, is what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna look at topography. I haven't seen anybody bowl on it too much yet.
I understand. What I'm just saying is, we're used to seeing a little bit of curl up on the gutter.
How do you know it's not curled up? I mean, this could have been from months ago. There's been some bowling.
I mean,
on
they
it
just
now.
finished like 2 weeks ago, so it's not that long ago.
You know, I don't know. They move. You know what I mean? They
I
always
agree
move.
with that 100%.
So, and then there was some bowling on it. They had some event there, so it could have loosened the screws up a little bit on the outside. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to speculate that you can't get in, all because the pattern could be the pattern. All I'm going to say is, you know, you're probably going to be better off staying a little bit straighter through the front part of the lane, trying to burn it off the gutter so you can keep it a little bit straighter. Because if the ball does, if the lane is crowned, the ball doesn't go up the hill and strike.
Right.
So, as I should say, as much. I mean, you know, your ball's got to actually go up the hill, which is almost impossible. So you have a lot more deflection. So maybe it could be. I mean, if you get in, I would think that you'd be better off because the lane's more level in the middle of the lane. It's more of a level part of the lane,
right?
Than it is to the outside part of the lane. Most of your influence, when you looked at that, was right around 10 to the gutter.
Right.
So if you're in the inner part of the lane and you can get it to 10 is the gutter, you're not going to have as much influence falling off. So I don't think that moving in would be a problem. I think that maybe getting too straight I guess too long would be bad.
What I was thinking, not moving or not struggling moving in like 15 to 10.
You're just not going to have a gutter
I'm thinking,
bank.
Right. Like you can't just move left, keeping your break point the same. If let's say you're playing 5 or right of 5, if you start to inch left, maybe with the topography there, the influence going to the gutter, that's not the right part of the lane to be in because of the slope not being able to climb uphill. So what I'm saying is, yeah, like what you said, you have to jump a zone, basically move in from like 10 to 5 15 to 10 to give you that hook, and then not losing it to the right.
Yeah, I will have to see. Time will tell. We'll see some videos here coming up in the next few months. I don't really necessarily think that, we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to be a problem getting in. I think having that hook spot off the gutter is going to be tough. But, if we see nobody's really scoring when they get in, and we don't see a lot of scores, we see a lot of scores straight, it tells me we're probably going to have a little bit less surface on the lane. And we're going to use probably some weaker balls to try to keep us a little bit straighter longer instead of trying to get in with some, make the burn spot, try to keep the burn spot there a little bit and just kind of grind out, ion pros, you can even use an absolute power, even though you hate it because of weaker cover, some of the sense, stuff like that would be a little bit better. Not as strong as covers, but balls are a little bit blendy still. So that way we can kind of keep the environment there a little bit longer. Level absorbs a lot of oil, but true. You'll be able to play straighter with it. But Don Harrington said Janowitz is a stud and the most soft-spoken guy on the 50 tour. And he said he wouldn't soak his bowling balls. Yes, I agree. Super good guy. Awesome.
Why are we talking about John?
Because it was a Kegel thing. He's a Kegel pattern guy. I don't know if it has any relation to the story. But he is at the Kegel facility. So, absolute stud. Yeah, he's won a lot of things without bowling too much. So I'd say you got to be pretty darn good to do that. I mean, he literally goes out there and runs him over almost every time he bowls.
He's pretty good. Yeah,
really good for a guy who doesn't partake every tournament.
I was crossing next to him all day on Saturday, and
John Janowitz?
Yeah, no,
you weren't.
Oh my god, I don't know why I was thinking. I got my. That's why I was so confused, because I was thinking of crap. Who was there?
Dude, I don't even know who you're talking about.
Oh, my God. He's really good. He bowls all over New York.
Okay.
And he just actually scored really well at OCs last year.
Jekko.
That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, maybe
my bad.
Wait. No, he's talking about John Rakoski.
Oh, yeah, the guy that shot 840.
I thought he was talking about Janowitz.
Okay.
Because he said it would not soak. And I thought it said John. Oh, because I made the comment, maybe he soaked his camera, but it was just a joke.
I got you.
Yeah, no, he is definitely good. He's won a ton of crap. And he's had 300 last year, too, at the Bowler's Journal. So, obviously, just a super accomplished player out there. Wouldn't expect anything less from a guy like that with those accolades under his belt.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll shoot 600 in the Bowler's Journal.
You haven't?
I mean, I think I have like a low 6. Oh yeah, I did in Reno. But last year, remember we started off with gangbusters? We had like 520 for 2.
605. Actually, I think I have to shot 590.
And then we both shot like 150 the next game. We're like, dude, we got a chance to win this freaking thing. We're in doubles because we shot a monster amount. And next game we both shot like 150, 170, and we're
That
like,
was sad.
all right, well, at least we know that upstairs is going to be a little tight. Actually, that was a very good.
It was good for you. Not
Yeah,
good
because
for me.
I knew how to play the lane. And then the guy's like, you need to do this and you need to do this. Yeah. Yes, we did say Dave Jecko.
That's who I was talking about. I saw John, or you said Janowitz, and I was
thinking John Jecko. I said
no.
David.
You said Janowitz, and I was thinking Jecko.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I'm trying to keep track with. All you guys who knowing people. Yeah, Jecko was a machine.
He's really good.
He mowed him over for like 4 games. I think he had
at
the Masters.
Oh, State Masters.
Yeah, he had one bad game. I think that kind of dropped him a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when he got to the re-oil, his ball didn't do the same thing. But he mowed him over when I was watching him.
Good attitude too. Like his head space is usually
super cool guy.
Pretty good.
He's a super cool guy.
I think I saw him get upset at himself once.
Yeah.
You know, like on a bad shot. But
I always like how he posts on Facebook. His daughter makes him a different charm bracelet for every tournament. And then, he posts, oh, this was the lucky one of the day. Seems like he makes every bracelet, so I don't know how many lucky bracelets he needs. Maybe you can give a few to me next time I see him.
Good idea.
Because I need a little bit of luck. But yeah, it was interesting. Interesting to see. But yeah, OCs, we'll see what happens, Scott. I think a little bit straighter. And a little straighter is greater. You guys need to learn how to play the gutter a little bit better. That's what I'm going to say. You guys don't know how to do it. You righties.
I'm good on the gut. Anyway, I have a gut. So,
bing bong.
Keep watching us. We are.
Joey had a good comment. Kyle gets upset tying his shoes.
That's true. We are headed off to the lanes. It is time for us to go bowling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com and check out Facebook, Instagram, X. If you can't watch live, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service or rewatch us on YouTube. Anthony, good show tonight. Austin, can't wait to see you tonight so we can. Oh, I've got Austin tonight.
Oh, he shot 300 in the Invitational with his banner on the pair.
That was pretty sick.
Yeah, we put banners
up. Congratulations to
Bob Mock for being our 2025 Town & Country Invitational League champion.
And God bless
Scott Bishop.
Scott Bishop, 70-something years old. Couldn't feel his leg. No, he's not. I thought somebody told me he was 70-something years old.
No, he's like 60, maybe.
Okay. Well, he couldn't feel his leg for the entire day.
Couldn't feel his left leg or left hand.
He bowled 12 games, the most ever
recorded
in the finals.
I think he was just kind of trying to get it over with, but nobody would lose. Nobody would beat him.
Nobody would beat him, but he wouldn't give up.
No, he just kept making spares. Yeah. I said he had no idea he could win. Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you got to face a champion of this bracket now, and you got to beat him twice. When he goes, I can win this thing. I already lost. I was like, yeah, no, you can win the tournament.
Double elimination, my friend.
And then he goes, what if this guy beats me the first game? I'm like, you lose. And he kind of was like, oh, okay, all right, that's kind of good. I kind of like that. And then he won. And then he won. And then he was like, oh, well,
had to go to a rubber match.
It was great. It was great. It was good to see 2 different guys in there.
And the last 5 guys standing, minus
Ben Nutstein.
Ben, all over 60.
Yeah, so
it was a senior field for sure.
Yeah, you had to collect Social Security to get a cash check that day. I mean, it was just true. Everybody was a little bit older. Ben was the last younger guy left. Jimmy Burton, I think, is close to 80.
Yeah,
if not 80. Bob's a little bit older. I think he's got to be 60 or so, and then Scotty's got to be about 60. Dale Christensen's got to be 65 or so. I mean, I'm guessing at ages here. And they all bowl in the Wednesday Senior League. They had like 5 of the 6 final 6. And I'm like, you guys are just, I don't know if you guys are like sandbaggers from this league or what, but you guys are killing. But they all bowled really well. It was good to see a different group of people in the finals this year. It was good to see. So.
Yeah, a lot of different people this year. But next year, you're number 10.
Your number 10 is next year. Got some big plans. Going to see if I can make them happen. It's going to be a little bit different, but we're hoping to get some good money on top without having to change the price, the entry fee. So we'll have to see what we can do for the league bowlers here at Town & Country.
All right, 64-man bracket 1 year from now. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for commenting all night long. Stay tuned with us next week. How many more weeks before you go to the Masters?
I have next week and then the week after that, and then I leave on the 22nd.
Oh, so you got 3 weeks. Okay.
2 weeks, and then I bowl.
3 weeks till you bowl. Or till you're in.
I bowl the 23rd.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. All right. Thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town & Country Lanes. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jam bread.
We will see you guys next week. This is Down Lane. I have to find the button. Sorry, I do this every time when Austin's not here.
And streams in the top right.
Down Lane Podcast. Bye-bye.